Well, the biggest milestone for the Tigers in the past week was Miggy Cabrera finally cresting the 500 home run milestone. Almost exactly a week after I predicted that he would, 1 week after I was actually at the game. A week ago, 2 Sundays ago, maybe I was there,
Yeah.
whatever it was. But uh, so he got it done. I guess I'm happy for him. Everyone's happy for him. It was a great moment. He became the 28th player in Major League history to get to 500 home runs, and I was kind of surprised. But I brought it up before, but I started thinking about that. Somehow 28 seems very small to me, especially when you consider we just came out of the steroids era. I thought there'd be 50, 70 players. Does 28? Does that
No, no.
surprise you that there's only 28?
Well, it would have if I didn't start like looking all the way back at during the Josh Donaldson incident.
Yeah.
I started looking at home run numbers for players because I was shocked at how low his homers were,
Yeah.
right? Because he's getting up there in age now. You would be thinking, you know, he was going to finish maybe somewhere around like 500 homers or something. He's going to finish in the 300s
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seemed. I feel like if we had continued, if steroids had been ignored the entire, like we're still in steroid era, I think we'd probably have 100, 500
Well,
home run
it was
hitters maybe.
you could say it was ignored for 20 years. So
I know.
that's a
It's such a
generation of players. So that's why I thought the number would be much higher than
yeah.
28.
I
So I guess
mean,
my I
I
guess
mean, you give kudos to him. I mean,
well,
he's in rare air.
that's the thing. That number is even probably inflated of what it should be, considering the steroids era we just got out of, or maybe may or may not be out of. So it makes it that much more remarkable, I guess, is my point, that he's the 28th person to ever fucking do it. He's also going to be one of 6 players to ever get to 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. He's about 45. I think he's 45 hits away from 3,000 right now. It does not look like he's going to do that this year. I think he'd be the first to ever do it in the same year. But he would have to. I just heard this morning he'd have to hit 358 down the stretch to get his 3,000th hit by the last game of the season. Not that he's never done that before. He has had many stretches where he's gone a month hitting 360. But I don't think that's realistic these days. He has been since I think middle of June. He's been hitting over 300. So he's looking like his former self, and it's cool that he's not just sort of creeping over the finish line to get to these milestones. He's actually having one of his better seasons in the last 3 or 4, which is a lot of fun to watch. He does still have 311 career lifetime batting average, which is remarkable. He's going to be right now. He is the fifth highest batting average of anyone in the 500 home run club, ahead of Hank Aaron, which is that just sort of puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
So I feel like in Detroit, he's definitely getting his just due. I think or maybe the younger generation doesn't think too much of this, and I think they need to look at their history books and figure out what massive milestones these really are. There's some talk in Detroit. I even heard this morning on Detroit Sports Talk Radio that people they're looking towards the future. And last week I talked about, and I'll be talking about this from now on, how the Tigers are in a really good spot to look like they can start contending as soon as next year. And there's some trepidation on some Tigers fans parts that they're worried that Cabrera is holding back some of these young prospects that could be coming up, or holding back the team that could be in contention next year. And they want the afternoon talk show host Rico, I forgot his last name, Rico Beard maybe. He said that the Tigers should cut Cabrera the moment he gets 3,000 hits, which might be like the first week of next season.
Wow, that's cold.
Yeah, that is cold. I mean, if in his thought process is, they're a contending team, and if he is holding them back, they need to be prioritizing wins over feel good milestones, or feel good stories after after he's reached those milestones. So I think that's brutal. I think if he was hitting, 198 or something this whole season, it was clearly a detriment to the team. I think that would be a better time to bring that up. He is not that right now. He's a productive member of the team. I don't know that he should necessarily be hitting cleanup or hitting 3 in the order, but he's a productive major leaguer right now. So, his season batting average, and I keep going to batting average, but he's a 260 hitter right now. He's not an embarrassment. That's above league average. So I thought that was ridiculous. I think, like I said, I don't think he's going to break 3,000 this year. So this is going to become the question next year. If he gets to 3,000 and then, maybe he's hurt, he did just bring up, he is going to play 2 more years, or at least he wants to play 2 more years to finish his massive 8-year contract, 248 million, I believe, that will expire after 2 years. He said his knee is fucked up, and I don't know if that means he's going to have off-season surgery this year, or if it's something he can deal with, but he can only deal with it for 2 more years and then he's done. So
okay.
So we'll see about that.
I would just like to say that I hope the Tigers would be smart enough if that was their plan to cut him and it happened in the first week of the season, they would at least wait until like the 15th day to not start the clock on these minor leaguers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Well, we'll see if Sleepy Alavila, or if it's Sleepy Alavila, or my new nickname, Crafty Alavila.
I mean, he was pretty crafty at the deadline.
He's been crafty,
holding his guns, doing stuff we didn't even expect.
He's doing shit we had no idea was happening,
and not bad shit either. Good shit.
I love it. I got to give him credit. I've been harsh on Alavila for a long time, and I got to give him credit. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not going to start service time clocks before they need to be started. But again, that's going to be a fun question going into next spring training, seeing how Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson and others perform, if they're just beaten down the door, if they can't be held back from the major league club going into next season. Or if Al will pull a Theo Epstein and hold back like he held back Chris Bryant for those, I think it was 9 days, or maybe it was 9 games in 15 days or whatever it was.
It's the whole thing. It set the ball in motion for Chris Bryant not to be a Cub for the rest of his life somehow. So
now he's a Giant.